I have an upcoming trip to the south of Spain with my own bike and it's in desperate need for some love. In this episode we'll see if I can upgrade my trusty XR600R with an Electric Start. Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's been quite a while since I've made a video. Finally found some time and motivation to make a new one. And it'll be about my own motorcycle, XR600 Honda. So the plan is to put this engine in my XR600, and this is an SLR 650 engine. So it's about 10 years younger, I think. There are some differences. For starters, it doesn't have a kickstart, and I really want to put the kickstart on it again. So I already sourced some parts like the kickstarter assembly. But the main problem when doing this is the output shaft, like the internal side. On an XR600 you have a sprocket here that connects the kickstarter gear with the clutch gear, and this is too big, so the gear won't fit. I already have valve cover. This one has an open hole for the valve relief, so when you're starting it, the kickstart, you can use it. The original one doesn't have one, so you can manually open the exhaust valve for compression release. So I'll be transferring all the rockers and rocker shafts onto that cover. Also already put in a hot cams camshaft. I used the camshaft that was in here on a client's bike, so I've put a higher cam in this one. Also the oil pump is different. The original one is a bit bigger and sticks out. If you want to use a kickstart, I'll be using a clutch cover from an XR as well, because it has all the holes in the right places. But the oil pump has to be changed for an XR oil pump. It's slightly smaller, but it works in an XR, so it should work okay in this engine as well. So here you have two shafts. This one is from another SLR 650 engine I had laying around. This one is from an XR, and you can see the difference here. The XR has a smaller diameter, like I've shown you guys on the engine itself. And this one has a collar that fits onto it. So the sprocket rides onto here, but of course this one doesn't fit. So I'll be swapping it over for an XR600 output shaft. I wasn't planning on opening up the engine because it only has 8,000 kilometers. But I really want to add kickstart, and if I don't do it now, it probably won't happen anytime soon. So let's open up the engine. So there's already loads of info and movies, YouTube videos about opening up engines like this, so I'm not gonna go into detail, just gonna start taking it apart. Head and cylinder have to come out because I have to split the cases. I'll try and keep the flywheel side all in place, so I should be able to just take out this side, remove the output shaft and put the other one in. So yeah, let's go. The top end has been completely taken off, and as expected with that mileage, yeah, piston, crank, all in very good condition. So now we'll take out the bolts for the lower end, and we'll take this off so that we can finally get to this one over there. So we got all the parts we need. The gearbox is out. The rest of the engine. So now it's just swapping over the gears onto another shaft, but I've already seen something on this gearbox. Bit of the same problem like I have on my XR. One of the dogs and the corresponding gear wheel they also have some slight wear. But I have another SLR650 engine that had a seized top end that I took apart, and the gearbox on that one is in perfect condition, so I'll use the gearbox from the other engine. So, not really sure if it's going to be very visible, but you see these rounded edges that are shining a bit more than the rest. You can also see some wear marks in between the holes. So that's where these have been grinding away. So just put this like it was, like this. So the problem is, when you're accelerating, you put it in gear. When the edges round off and you put some torque on the engine, the gear wheel goes like this. Instead of just engaging the wheel, it goes up and it loses grip. And as you ride, it gets only worse. So this is not terrible, but as I have a good, perfect gearbox, I won't be using this one, of course. So after all, a good thing that we did take the engine apart, although I didn't really want it. Another thing I saw is gear shaft. I don't know if you can see it, but it's bent. So I had a bit of a difficulty getting it out of the cases. When I took it out, I could see why. It's slightly bent. So I'll be swapping it over from the other engine as well. So now that we have the engine completely in pieces and we'll be obviously waiting for some new parts to get in. It's a great time to start taking the old engine out of the XR, so let's go and do that. So that's the engine out of the bike. So the bottom end is back together. It's time to put the top end in. I decided to use the cylinder from the seized engine and had it overboard for a new piston with slightly higher compression. So the head is rebuilt as well. So time to put it back together. So we got all the parts for the conversion in. The gear that didn't fit first now goes smooth. Kickstarter XR600 is in place. Clutch basket. And now the moment to test everything. So the Kickstarter is working. We can proceed with putting everything else back in its place. I've talked about using the SLR650 wiring, but I checked the wiring diagram and the carburetor has a TPS sensor. I want to use the XR600 carburetor, so I'm gonna swap everything over from the XR600. Also, the pickup is different. The SLR pickup has all these teeth. XR600 only has one, so I swapped it over for the XR. And wiring loom CDI, I'm going to use XL600LM because they have a different stator and they can still charge a battery. XR600 stator is not powerful enough, so it will be a bit of a mix of everything. I'll line it up in the end to show you all the different parts that I used. So this is also the XR600 oil pump with the oil line from XR600, so all the ignition parts. So yeah, we can go ahead and close up the engine. So this is the end result. I did quite a lot of work on it off camera. Like I said, this is not really a tutorial on how to rebuild or how to build a single cylinder Honda engine. It was mainly just to show you the things I do to make this work, to have a Kickstarter on an SLR650 engine. So in the end, quite a lot of changes, especially if you are putting it in an XR like I do. If you would just put this in a regular SLR or an X650 and you want a Kickstarter, you don't have to do all the other mods I did with the electrics. But I want to run this engine in an XR600 with a modified wiring loom, so yeah, there's a bit more work involved than just swapping over the shaft, the output shaft. So in the end, we got the engine put together, everything's in place, so we already know the Kickstarter works, so let's see what she does. It already has a spark plug in it, so I hope this battery is strong enough. If not, I'll buy a bigger one. So, I think it's safe to say the Electric Start works as well. So as you can see, it's pretty much all bolted back together. I worked pretty late last night and just finished up the last pieces. Put the exhaust back on, checked the carburetor, the fuel level. Topped it up with oil, so let's see if she wants to go. I'm not sure about the lithium battery. Might be a bit on the small side to kick this one over, but we'll find out. Now let's check if the Kickstarter still works. So I have this special filter housing. You can see The oil pressure also here. There actually was a problem with the oil pressure. Although the level was rising, there was not enough pressure to get the oil to the head. There was a small kink in the oil feed line from the frame going to the oil pump. Once that was fixed, the pressure was back as it should. Now it's time to take the bike outside and see how she performs. As you can see, she runs like a dream. If you want to see how the trip to Spain went and how the bike performed, be sure to like, follow and subscribe for our next video on the trip to Spain.